Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my grandparents/relatives that I didn't move out for college? I moved out because I got kicked out when I turned 18. Hey everyone, I'm an 18-year-old male, and a few weeks ago it was my birthday. I turned 18. As soon as I turned 18, at 12 o'clock a.m., while I was asleep in my room, my dad knocked on the door, turned on the lights, pulled my blanket off me, and told me to get up and get out of the house. You're 18 now. I already knew that I was going to be kicked out at 18, as my mom and dad had often mentioned it to me in the house. When you're 18, you gotta be out of the house. Or they'd say something like, I can't wait till your mother and I get some alone/quiet time when you leave this house at 18. They already had plans to kick me out before anyway, so I already knew it, but I wasn't worried as I have a good/decent savings amount, $5,000 USD, that I earn from freelancing on the side. And ever since I turned 18, I've been making a decent income as well off that, doing it as full time work right now. I can afford the apartment in my area and essentials and some nice stuff as well. So that day that I got kicked out, I packed all my stuff in a suitcase. I left. I slept the night at my best friend's house. I woke up the same day and arranged an apartment through a landlord that I knew personally. Now I have my own apartment and I'm living by myself. Today I had a group FaceTime call where my grandparents, aunt, uncle, mom, dad, etc. were all in FaceTime. So my grandpa asks, So, OP, your father told me you moved out, right? To attend college? Which college are you attending? I told my grandpa, No, grandpa, I didn't move out to attend college. I moved out because I was kicked out. My grandpa's face immediately turned from happy and smiling to an angry, shocked face, and he basically went off on my mom and dad. Man said cuss words that I have never heard before. He scolded my parents for like 2 hours live on FaceTime with all of our relatives on group FaceTime call. After the FaceTime ended, my mom and dad gave me a call personally and said they were mad. They said that never before has your grandfather insulted us today, and he did it because of you. Jerk. And cuss words, cuss words. And some more cuss words, and they finally ended the call. So, am I the jerk for telling my grandparents that I got kicked out? I love the irony of all these people on this forum who do bad things, do terrible things, and then are shocked when people hold them to their bad things that they've done. If you don't want to be judged for doing bad things, don't do bad things. So, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not a jerk.
OP, you're not a jerk. You are being honest. And if honesty, causes your parents to look bad, then maybe what they did was bad. So, no, I don't think you're a jerk. You've not done anything wrong here. Your parents are, they should have given you a little more notice that when they said you turn 18 and you get kicked out of the house, they literally mean like the day of your 18th birthday or something like that, so that you could arrange and have accommodations and things like that. The way they did this was completely inappropriate. You give people time, right? You may, it's a month or 2 months. I don't even know if they can legally evict you like they did, because you would have been an adult at that point in time, still living at home. And I think they would have had to probably legally, depending on your jurisdictions. I'm not a lawyer, this isn't legal advice, but legally, I think they probably needed to give you some kind of notice or eviction notice in order to get you out of the house. So I don't think you've done anything wrong here, and your parents are just acting like bad people, and so of course, your grandfather, who cares and loves you, would be concerned and angry that they kicked you out at midnight. I mean, you didn't even get into that part, and I mean, it's just ridiculous. No, not the jerk. Not the jerk. Who does that to their child? Narcissistic, abusive jerks do that. My parents did this to me when I turned 18. It was around 1 a.m., and I hadn't even finished my senior year of high school yet. Here's the real kicker: I'm adopted. Wow, that is ridiculous. On their freaking birthday, not the jerk. Yeah, that's so sad. Like, happy birthday. Bye. Not the jerk. Who does this to their own child on their 18th birthday? They lied because they knew their actions would look bad to others. If they were embarrassed, then they only have themselves to blame. I'm glad that you told your grandparents the truth, and I'm so sorry that your 18th birthday was so rubbish. Hopefully, you can celebrate your birthday as well as leaving your parents behind with your friends soon. That's if you haven't already. And OP says, yeah, I think I might celebrate my birthday with my homies later, a small one. Let's see, you told the truth and your parents think the very natural consequences they had to endure is your fault? Sounds like you might be the only mature one in your family of 3. Not the jerk, and an extra blown kiss to your grandpa. It's also highly illegal to kick someone out without a 30-day notice, and here, even if they claim they gave him a verbal notice, it doesn't count because OP was a minor 30 days ago. Can't legally get into an argument like that, file a police report, illegal eviction plus harassment, then sue them. I mean, OP sounds like they're doing well enough as it is, but I mean, certainly if they were still in a hard spot, if they didn't have a place to live, I might recommend that. But if OP has any chance or desire to reconcile with their parents, if they want to, then getting the police involved might not necessarily be the best way. Family relationships are complicated. You can't always just call the cops on your parents. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being mad that my husband is trying to financially edge me out of my, quote, expensive hobby? Backstory, my husband and I have always had joint accounts, and up until last year when our third child was born, we made about the same amount of money. We made the decision that I would leave my full-time job and work part-time for now so that we could avoid the cost of daycare. This has cut my income in half. In addition, last year my husband started running a successful eBay store. He opened a separate account that I have no access to at all. And he started taking extra money from his paycheck each week and depositing it into that account as well. He uses that money on whatever he wants. I manage our finances, budget, and pay all of our bills. I don't have a separate personal account, so all of my money is poured into a mutual account and he can see all of my spending. I keep spreadsheets that he has full access to but never looks at. We have savings and basically no debt aside from a mortgage and my student loans. And now, I'm a very active jiu-jitsu competitor and I go to tournaments frequently. I would probably call BJJ an expensive hobby. The last few weeks, several entry fees came due at once, totaling around $600. I have always cleared that with him, and I'm going to do a certain tournament before I sign up, and then I build the fees into our budget. This was no different, and other than jiu-jitsu, I don't really spend a lot of money on anything else. He texted me while I was at work yesterday saying, not really happy about the excessive spending recently. I think you should get your own account with an allowance to pay for this stuff. This was shocking to me because he has never had a problem until yesterday, and I've never spent so much money on BJJ that we can't pay our bills. Then he told me that he bought a car a few weeks ago with his personal funds. Fair. Fair is fair. You spend $600 on jujitsu stuff, he buys a new car. You're the one who is spending too much money. Don't you see that, OP?
OP needs to start charging him for the money, the cost of daycare for the child care she's providing, because he just
Yeah.
acts like she's not. Oh, you're just not making as much money anymore. This is all on you.
Yeah. I feel like he's trying to control me and financially edge me out of my hobby that he knows that I love. I can give myself an allowance out of each of my paychecks, but I make a lot less money than him and pretty much all of it goes to bills, so it would take me longer to save for each tournament and I would do fewer per year. If I want to do jiu-jitsu, I have to rely financially on him to do so, and again, it's never been a problem until yesterday because up to last year I made just as much money as him. Our mutual decision for me to leave my job only affects my paycheck. He can spend money on whatever he wants, like a car, without any oversight or accountability because he has his eBay store and he makes question amount of money from it each month. He never tells me, but I would say it's probably about $1,000 a month. Anyways, it started a big fight and he says he doesn't have to rely on me financially for his hobbies, so I shouldn't have to rely on him financially for mine. That our mutual money should go to the bills and the kids only. So, who's the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP, you're not the jerk in this situation. You two have had a previous arrangement before, and there wasn't any indicator that this was going to be a financial hardship for you to go to these jujitsu tournaments. Now, I think the dynamic of things has changed a little bit, but only because he's caused them to change. I think you, like Amber said, maybe you should consider start charging daycare costs if he's going to act this way, because or even just go back to work. There's really only those few options here. So if you go back to work, then he's going to have to start paying for childcare costs one way or another. So it might be more advantageous if it's going to, even if it costs you more money, to go back to work, because then he can't control the purse strings like he's been doing. So I think this was kind of rude of him, and I think that this does come across as very financially controlling and potentially financially abusive as well. So I don't think that you're the jerk, and I think you two need to have a good long heart to heart about what is acceptable and what he's doing with that hidden money that you don't even have any control over, because it's a little unfair that he gets to have free reign over all of his free money, but not you having, a shared interest in that. So plus, his eBay business is a marital asset. It's a business. He may own it, but it's still a marital asset. If you two were to get divorced, you would own probably half of that asset. I believe. I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice, and that would have to be something that you would talk to a lawyer about, but I'm pretty sure that it would be considered a marital asset. So I think that he needs to tread very, very carefully here, because if you were to divorce him and you were to get alimony from him, then he would be paying probably more than he is right now. So just a thought, just a thought. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, I would be hightailing it back to working full time, and he can start contributing to daycare for the kids if he suddenly thinks your quality of life should be diminished with your income. Your contribution to the household is far more than just dollars and cents, but if he's trying to make it about the raw numbers, this is not right, and you need to protect yourself. Unless his day job is allowing him to conduct his eBay business during his work hours, his side hustle is costing your family, so he can't just claim it's his to keep. Exactly this. Back to full-time work you go, and the child goes to home daycare. Find something that costs a good amount less than you earn, redo your budget spreadsheet according to the account for a healthy slush fund of your own that matches his. When the bills aren't met, then since he isn't contributing his fair percentage share, he has to pay them. Here's another idea. Get all of the bills in his name alone and remove your name. Do this on the side ASAP if you haven't done this already, or at a minimum his name to them. His credit will take any non-payment hits just as much as possibly yours. Simply don't be able to pay a couple's utilities bills as a starting point for a wake-up call. He will have to contribute more to the joint account to make the payments. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend, damaging your family's credit over this. That seems like a little bit of a far length to take this. This is like everyone loses, there is no winning. You don't, scorched earth type of scenarios don't necessarily play out well unless it's a last resort. Like, yeah, if scorched earth is the only answer to his problem and you have no other options, okay, then there might be a time and place for that. But there still sounds like there's a lot of room to negotiate and talk and work out problems in a civilized way before resorting to extreme measures. That's at least my point of view. Let me know what you folks think though. All right, folks, it is tea time. And I am disappointed with myself because I just realized that I haven't actually done Wordle yet today. So this is from yesterday's Wordle. Sorry, I really intended on doing it. I've just been busy during the day today, and I just never got around to it.
Well, I haven't been able to do Wordle, so I haven't been able to keep you
Yeah,
abreast of it.
Amber also hasn't been able to do Wordle recently, so we are usually like a friendly competition where I only rub it in her face a few times after I win. I'm just kidding. I never rub it into her face. So I hope you have your beverages of choice in hand, and let's read a joke. What goes from New York to Philadelphia without moving? The road. What an absurd joke. What ridiculous jokes we have. And I have Earl Grey. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Mom to Wash Her Eyes Out with Soap After She Saw a Raunchy, quote, raunchy photo of my wife? Throwaway account. My wife, Tiana, gave birth to our beautiful son 7 months ago. She works from home and enjoys sending pictures and videos of my son and the two of them together. Some of the pictures are plain selfies, while others are impromptu, elaborate photo shoots of him on our couch. I find the pictures are cute and they always brighten up my day. My sister Ariel just got out of a bad marriage, and my mom and two brothers were helping her pack her things up. At one point, my sister's phone died, and she asked to use mine to make an important call. I agreed, and I assumed that she would bring back my phone in a few minutes. I assumed that Tiana would send a picture of herself while I was working when my sister had the phone, because when I stopped to take a break, my mom and Ariel approached me, my phone in hand, about Tiana's scandalous behavior. Wait until you hear this scandal. They showed me a selfie of Tiana, sent a few minutes after I had given my phone to Ariel, of her breastfeeding. Nothing was even exposed. She was smiling. The photo was mostly of her face. Ariel told me that it was ungodly and indecent for my wife to be sending pictures of that nature to me. Again, there was barely any breast in it. Then my sister pulls the video of Tiana up in the mirror, showing off her new dress, baby on her waist. The dress showed a little cleavage, but I didn't think it was anything too serious. Again, Ariel started to go on a rant about how inappropriate Tiana was behaving as a new mother. Yes, so inappropriate feeding your child and wearing clothes. Next time, she needs to send a picture without all the clothes. Maybe that will solve the problem. In the moment, I was in disbelief and somewhat amused, so I stayed silent. She kept going off about how disturbed she was seeing those pictures and how dirty she felt after. I was tired of listening, so I pointed at the sink and told her to wash her eyes out with soap if it bothered her that much. This did not help the situation at all. Ariel stormed off, and my mom told me that I should be a little more sensitive and understanding about her marriage situation. This has nothing to do with her marriage situation. Stop it. No, Mom. No. Bad mom. When I told my wife, she laughed, but I suggested that I apologize to help everything go back to normal. Was I too harsh? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
OP, no. You're not the jerk in this situation. Your wife didn't do anything inappropriate, and they shouldn't have looked at your messages anyways or gone through your phone. What is wrong with these people? That's a breach of your privacy. It doesn't matter if you have someone's phone in hand. It does not matter. You do not look at their messages without their explicit consent. Plain and simple. You are actually the victim here, and they're the ones who are turning themselves into a victim. So this is ridiculous. No, you're not a jerk. These people are absurd. Just plain absurd.
And people are allowed to send pictures to their partner.
Yeah.
However, like,
Yeah. Like, even if this had been like an actual nude, there was no problem with you receiving those kinds of pictures. And this is not her being gross or ungodly. These people are just plain weird if they think that this is like a horrible thing for a married couple to do between each other. Like, you already have your union blessed by God here. How is that? Like, this is just absurd. You're married on top of that. Like, I'm not suggesting that this is wrong on any moral level, but I'm saying the fact that they're using this as an ungodly type of argument is just plain absurd. On every level. Not the jerk, I would divorce Ariel too. She sounds like the worst. That's a little rude. That's a little rude. Not the jerk, if your wife sent you full-blown nudes, neither her nor you would be in the wrong either. What you two send each other is no one else's business. But if photos of her feeding her child, they're the jerks for their judgment on that. And OP says, it would be more understandable if my wife had truly sent inappropriate X-rated photos and she had reacted like that. It would be still wrong and weird to complain about that, but at least I could understand her line of reasoning. But to complain about a breastfeeding picture is strange to me. I agree. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
bye.